So nostalgic. Look at my old raggedy prospect and position. I recruited Ricky.
Oh, that's her outstation.
No, she was. Yeah, what needs to happen for you to join right now? But this is when I interview her.
Hey guys. All right, we're gonna get started with team meetings. So we're gonna have team meeting in this room. So if you're prospecting, you may want to go in the waterfall tables. But we are going to record all of these so that in the future you can see it on. You can go look at it. We're gonna start recording these and then uploading them into YouTube. We're having some conversations around. No, you're fine. I was gonna say people in the room are kind of having conversations around branding and some things they've seen. But thank you for coming. If you are here, like, come step up a little bit, honestly, because Kirsten's gonna get some. Yeah, yes, please, like together. If y'all could sit together, that would be great. Sit next to Courtney or over, where Kirsten can get some good footage. Caleb, will you sit like next to people so that it looks good on socials for Kirsten? That'll be great. Okay, so we are going to go through. Keisha's finishing a call, but then, do you mind moving to the waterfall tables to make your calls, or come in here? You're the best. So anyways, we're going to go through some AI strategies and how you can use them in your business. And honestly, we talked a lot about not just branding and how to get business, but how to keep your business. So this playbook goes through tons of ways to use AI and integrate it every day. So we've already gone through this playbook, honestly, on Win the Morning, but we want to sit down and, like, if you brought your laptop, you can go ahead and build this out. If not, you can find this inside of Connect. But we're going to go through this part here and kind of some strategies around inspection, estimators, low appraisal insights, and some red flag finders, those types of things that you can plug into your transaction to try to hold it together, especially when you have an inspection report and maybe you need to think through how to have that conversation with your client or get some estimates. So anyways, I'm going to go down here and find that. This is inside of Connect. And if you have your laptop, we can kind of do it workshop style so that we can organize these into your AI like library. So let's see. Oh, I passed it up. Sorry. Yeah.
This is exactly what Adam Kalin was saying he does with his vendors, is get like a pricing list off of the repairs or the inspection proposal, and this will do it for you. So I don't know if y'all have seen cost versus value report or some of that data. It's essentially pulling from those data points. While not 100% accurate, it still gives you, like, hey, if you upload the inspection estimator prompt into chat and then you ask it, for Memphis, Tennessee, it's going to pull that data in, and then it'll tell you based off of that summary of the report how much each item on average would be, which that could be done in 30 seconds versus having to call people individually.
Yeah. This is the LLM one. And we can go through the GEO one as well. LLM stands for large language models. Sorry, just in case you don't know. So those are at the beginning of this. It tells you I want you to think of the LLMs as different apps. So when I went to an AI class with somebody who kind of specializes it in Dallas a few months ago. And honestly, he started it off by having the conversation of, yeah, did you have a question? Oh, he started off with the question of, what is an LLM and do you need more than one? And the answer is honestly yes. So I want you to think of them as apps on your phone. So obviously we used to have flip phones. You didn't even know what an app was. Now you download an app like it's nobody's business, right? If somebody says, here's a new app that does it better or does it, faster or more seamlessly, you're going to download a new app, right? So they are developing new LLMs every single day. And they all kind of have their own functionality and what they're used for. So here are kind of the top 5 that they brought up was ChatGPT. It kind of can do everything, right? So ChatGPT can answer all your questions. You can teach it everything, and that's where you would want to store most of those, like your prompt library and things that you're going to use over and over and over, like this with your inspection, right? So if you're putting in a repair proposal and you're going to put it into AI to try to get some pricing, you're going to want to save that prompt so you're not doing it over and over and over and use it as a system. That's something your assistant could do for you, right? So like your assistant could throw it in there and at least have a general idea so that you can go and tweak it a little bit. Hey guys. You can, so when you have the pro version of of Gemini, you can. It's just not as intuitive as ChatGPT would be. And you do have the pro version inside of your KW. So if you go and log into KW, your Gmail, inside of your Google Suites, you have access to the Gemini Pro. So Gemini is used kind of like ChatGPT, but it's just a little bit less intuitive. We do all kind of use it, honestly, for staging and some AI photo editing. So that's one way to use that. And then Claude is really good at, it kind of just think of Claude as kind of an editor and helping you, like it can build out websites, landing pages, all those types of things. Perplexity will give you an answer. So it's less of like a creative writer, but it's going to just straight up just be a fact checker. And it uses true facts. It's going to tell you where it got the information. Where ChatGPT and Gemini may find the perfect answer for you. Like, oh, Caleb's going to like this. Or, Justin, this is what he wants to hear. Perplexity takes all that kind of, oh, do I need to double check this out of it? Because it's going to fact check it for you and give you sources so that you can go say, like, is that a reliable source? And you're not having to kind of double check. And then Grok is kind of designed to be more conversational and script practice and things like that. So you can practice having a conversation with your seller or just script practicing. Yeah, what's up, Caleb? You should have all 5 of these for different functions, just like you have different apps on your phone. Another one that I don't think they mentioned here that I learned about is Gamma. So Gamma is visuals. So if you want to create, if you have a really visual person and you have a spreadsheet, and it can help you take that spreadsheet and make it into a visual for that person and vice versa. It could have helped me create a presentation today in 2 seconds. You can just tell it kind of what's the mood that you want, what's the vibe you're going for, or even probably tell it your brand colors, what you want on there at all times, and create it for you in 2 seconds so that you can quickly have those conversations. Yes. So Sarah said you need to know what each one is really good at, and that's what you use it for. So the presenter I use another piece of AI called Whisper Flow, Whisper with just an R, not ER. I use it every single day. It's almost like Siri to talk to text, but it uses AI to guess what you're really saying and doesn't mess it up all the time because of your accent. And you can use it in any app in your phone. So I can use it to send an email. And so I use it in email, inside of Command, inside of my text messages. If I use a Whisper, it's way more accurate and I don't really have to double check it. So you can send it off super easy to not have to, I'm really slow typer, so that you can get through things quicker. He uses Whisper inside of his presentations.
We walk through and we've got our sheets of paper. We're trying to write everything down. Oh, yeah. So I listened to a podcast with Gary Ashton, and Whisper is what they use when they're in the home. And instead of writing it down, they just tell the client, hey, I'm going to pull up my AI assistant, which is Whisper, and then it computes everything there instead of having a bunch of sheets of paper that we're trying to get to listing managers. And then it immediately will go into the database. So they connect it to the database so everything flows directly in there without us having to write things down, try to get to assistant, all of that.
Yeah, and I'm sure it can summarize it. WISPR, I believe. And it's an app that you can download. I downloaded onto my computer. Whisper Flow. Yep, WISPR Flow. And yeah, it can listen to everything, summarize it, and it's really intuitive so that it doesn't mess up your Southern, drawl. It's like, what the heck did you just say? It knows. And it learns what you're trying to say. So Yeah, I think what I'm trying to say is we're going to start with, these are all different apps. Just like on your phone, you know to go to CapCut to edit a video, and you're going to go to, ChatGPT for one thing. Then you're going to have to go to Instagram for another thing. All the different apps that you need in your life. I want you to start thinking of, what app do I need? Which AI is going to do that job for me? And so which one do I need to go to create that for me quickly? So anyways, so real time, kind of what we're going to go through today. And I know some people didn't bring their laptops, but you can find this inside of Command. So just go to AI and you're going to go to the LLM book. But really what we want you to kind of take away, obviously, honestly, when I have brand new agents and I just started this, they ask me, like, if you were me, what would you do? I would go straight to this thing as a brand new agent and create, all my marketing, who I am, all the skills and all the analysis, all the operations. And then this is going to super streamline me having these conversations around estimating, costs, and then low appraisal. So we'll check that one out as well. Newsletter generators, all kinds of things. And one thing that I don't think people know is you can tell it, hey, I want to send this out every 30 days. Can you create another one in 30 days? And it's going to email you and say, here, it's been 30 days. Here's your updated newsletter for Bartlett or Arlington, whatever your focus is. So it's just teaching the bot how to help you and saving them so that it always remembers. Will you text Kirsten and tell her that there are people she wanted to get pictures, and I made them all sit together. Sorry. Anyways. So, and then here's another one. So even low appraisals. So we're seeing those right now, right? So you can take this prompt and put it in. So last year, 1 in 12 homes appraised below the contract price. Fannie Mae reports that when multiple appraisals are done on the same property, the measured square footage often differs by 10% or more, causing value adjustments to 3 to 10%. Use AI to identify the common errors of human miscalculations by combining this prompt with an appraisal report and AR tools like Cubicasa to understand why the appraisal came in low and what to do about it. So if you can literally just take this, copy and paste it, and put your appraisal in there. So another thing that this teaches at the beginning is how to structure the questions, right? So you want to always tell it who it is in this conversation and how it's supposed to help you. So that's how you want to create prompts. So on this appraisal one, right, you're thinking like, hey, you are a highly knowledgeable AI trained in real estate appraisals and USPAP standards. Your role is to analyze residential real estate appraisals with a high degree of accuracy and critical thinking. When given an appraisal report, you will first identify and explain the condition of the property, compare it to subject properties, to comparables, highlighting key differences in condition, location, and features, and explaining how these differences impact value. Look for any anomalies, ensure that all insights are accurate and clear, flagging any areas that may need human review. So I think that's super important. And then provide context on common appraisal pitfalls and how to avoid them, ensuring that agents understand the potential risks and how to mitigate them. Please always prioritize clarity and accuracy in your explanations and ensure that all insights are well-grounded in appraisal standards and best practices. So, this is like having an appraiser in your back pocket and being able to have, honestly, it's going to tell you all the insights of the things that you might be missing. Or if you're a brand new agent and you don't know how to read an appraisal report, honestly, sometimes I'm like, where the heck is that? Like, how do I make sure that I'm being super accurate in that?
I was gonna say another cool thing you can use it for, like if I'm pricing a property and I want to know like how much a third car garage and value is going for, upload a couple of appraisal reports and see. Does that make sense? Like,
yeah, if you want to know how much value it adds.
Adjustments based on if I'm pricing a property based on what an appraiser or appraisal report has said in the past.
Yeah. Another thing that we're kind of focusing on, honestly, is contracts. So one thing that we're talking about is what are the things that are popping up that are making things fall apart? What are things that we could avoid? What are some conversations that we can, or some language that we can add to our contracts to tighten them up, right? So red flag finder. You could save all of these inside of your library, and every single contract, put it in there and say, hey, are there any red flags in here that I should be aware of? Right? So again, you're teaching it who it is. You are a seasoned real estate contract reviewer. Your task is to spot risks, vague terms, or negotiable areas in this contract for either the buyer or the seller, so you tell it what you're looking for. Do not provide legal advice. Instead, break down key clauses like payment terms, termination, scope of work, liability, and flag where a licensed attorney may need to review so that it's not playing the role of an attorney. And then for clauses, assess clarity in plain language, potential risks, questions the client should ask their attorney, and clauses that may be negotiable, and typical alternatives. Summarize the findings in a bulleted list or table to help the agent prepare for a client conversation, or what to refer to legal counsel. So anyways, what I really want you guys to do is take this and create a system around using this AI to help you do your job better and more seamlessly. And maybe it is a way for you to leverage. You could have your assistant put this in, right, Allie? You can have your assistant at least create these things so that you can say like, oh, okay, here's what the AI said is the most important, or here's what I need to review before I go through with my client. And then it's easy for you to have that conversation instead of having to decipher through all these things on your own. So this is inside of Connect, but I can send out kind of what we talked about today. Do you have any other thoughts on that?
Your assistant does it. If your assistant puts it in, they can share the project with everybody in the organization. So you could just share the project, and that way everybody has it. And then I would encourage you to say, like, to anybody in your organization, like, hey, this is a red flag finder. This is what you use it for. This tax strategy option, so that they only know the high points, right? And then they can start using the prompts. But I think just getting it inputted into a LLM takes a second, and then they can deploy it, right?
Yeah. I mean, it would take them maybe an hour at the most to go ahead and just start with, okay, like it says there's, 5 topics, right? So, anyways, these here. So, nope, that's not it. That's where you're teaching it kind of who you are, and how to perfect your prompt. Sorry, guys. This is inside of Connect. I'll show you. So you want to teach it, You want to teach it who you are, how you talk, how you want things to be relayed to you. And it's important that it knows who you are and what you stand for. Like, my bot is going to be friendly and warm and try to console you, right? But Sarah's might be very, like, to the point and direct, and, hey, I want to be able to have this conversation in 2 minutes. And I might be like, hey, I want to take my time and make sure, where Sarah wants to get direct to the point. Or Caleb's like, I don't even want to have this conversation. I want it to be so intuitive that I want my assistant to be able to do it, right? So that sounds like Caleb. No. And I mean, Justin is so busy. I'm sure you would love for Audrey to be able to say, like, hey, is it okay if I have this conversation with the client, so that you can leverage those things. But you want it to sound like you, so that your client is still comfortable and it doesn't sound like a robot wrote that, right? And it can start kind of being intuitive on who you are, and saying things in a way that sound like you.
So this is
yes.
the LLM one. There's a GEO one.
There's a new they just released it. I believe in December. So, yep, December 1st. So, if you go inside of Command, y'all, here, you'll go to Connect. And then if you just type in AI playbook, there's a couple different AI playbooks that are going to pop up. And so this is a new one that we'll start going through. But I know the way of the future, and something that we always talk about, is GEO. It's not going away, but it's going to eventually be SEO. SEO is eventually going to be GEO, opposite. Because would you rather ask Google and then have to figure out what the good answer is, or just ask ChatGPT really quick and get an answer, right? So if I said, who's the best realtor in DeSoto County, and it just says Justin Lance, I'm like, cool, that's what I wanted. I don't want to have to go research it or see whatever. Like, that's what I do, and I know that's kind of where it's headed. So we haven't looked at this much, but it teaches you kind of what the differences are and how to be searchable, so that you develop trust, and then you're the one who pops up on that GEO. Another thing I will share with you guys before, like in an email follow-up, is something that we got at Mega Agent Camp. Have you guys ever heard of Marcus Sheridan? Well, you were there. Yes, the pool guy, right? So he is all about being the guy who has the answers, right? So how can you, kind of like we talked about in the morning this morning, be the one who answers the questions that everybody wants to know? So if everybody's not just saying who's the best realtor in Bartlett, but they're saying, hey, what's the best neighborhood in Bartlett? Answer that on your website, answer that on your social medias, because that's what it's going to. Yeah, what's the worst neighborhood in Bartlett? Where do I not want to be? Yeah, attention. She was saying attention getting headlines gets you the attention, and it's going to start pulling your social media. Honestly, I think it was only 1 year ago that Google started not just doing websites pulls, but social media. So the more you're on there and answering those questions that people want to know about, the more you're going to pull up on these SEO and GEOs. So we'll go through this another time because I want to kind of do a deep dive on it before teaching it to you. But that is in there if you want to do it on your own. But Marcus Sheridan created his own bot based on his book, Never Ending Customers. And you can put it in there and say, hey, this is my preferred neighborhood. I want to be the expert. Tell me how to be the person who shows up in GEO. And it will give you content strategies for a year if you wanted to. Yeah, Justin, what were you want to say? Oh, cool. Awesome. So Justin said if you weren't at Mega Agent Camp, he was on the podcast, the MREA podcast, and he gives you kind of all of the details around that, his platform, and gives you details about that bot that he created. So I think what I want you to take away from this is to create a library. Don't keep recreating your prompts. Perfect them. Structure them in the ways that they teach you how to make it an expert. And then use it over and over and over so that it can truly be a system for you to take away some of that time. So anyways, that's all I have. I want to keep it short and sweet because I know we do have. Yeah. Has anybody fully gone through the playbook is Sarah's question.
We're going through another AI playbook right now on Win the Morning. So we started with this one. I would start with the LLM first, only because it needs to know who you are. So I heard Jason and Gary say this. They said that very first one, Linda, where it talks about who you are and your past work history, career history, whatever. It's so critical that you put that in first. So if you're going to go down this journey, which I would encourage you to do so, you've got to start feeding it with who you are, which is that first prompt. So I say all of that because you need to go with how they're suggesting in the playbook. Starting, with identify your preferred communication style. So I would start there. And I do think, based off what I read this morning in the other playbook, anybody know what the Facebook lead ads have gone up cost-wise year over year? Anybody? Pop quiz, Justin? 61%. And what's happening with Zillow right now? Anybody know what's going on with Zillow? No. Not to my knowledge. What is so they essentially have told a lot of the Zillow representatives that they have to use their mortgage company and they're being sued because of it. And so and they also they have bought Follow Up Boss. And so now they're in agents' databases, which has made a lot of agents uncomfortable. And some of them are trying to figure out alternative lead sources. And so those that were beholden to Zillow are now backing away a little bit. So all that to say is lead cost is getting more expensive. Zillow is going to keep doing what Zillow does and make moves, which is fine. It's not a good or bad. It's just understanding you may want to have another lead lever. And then, the cost of leads for SEO. So search engine optimization is going up and the leads are not that great. So it is 100% going to generative engine optimization. And when you put it in and say, who's the best realtor in Memphis, you want it to say Justin Lance, right? So, and this also will allow you to be more relational with your clients as you're providing a ton of content and value for them. So, what were you going to say? Yeah. Large language models. So that's a fancy word for different AI tools. Let's just call it that. Correct. The only reason, because you're kind of like me, I think you might like chat better because I can file it into file folders. It just seems, yeah. And I started a project in there, and I think I just started in there and I created these projects. So I have one that says KWAI playbook, and then I have a brand playbook, and that way I can just share that with the team. I actually just did that with our lease in Mississippi because I love the property manager there. And I asked him to put a term for a cancellation clause in there that I asked an attorney to write up. Anyway, he added it, but then I wanted to compare all the leases to make sure so I didn't have to sit there and read through line by line. And it said this is what it is, and this is what it is for this next year, and then they were in alignment without me having to sit there and go line by line. Same thing with the builder. Yeah. Like,
sure he's not making mistake, we can
Mhm.
ask him, hey, which page, which paragraph you got this line? Can you point me out?"
reference it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Asking, I think I heard Jason Abrams say this too. Make sure you say, show me your sources or your resources, or yeah, highlighting, where you actually pulled this data from.
Sure. Did not make mistake. And somebody is to go to all the pages and show me, hey, this is this.
That's smart.
Thank you.
Anybody else using it for anything else that's not been?
Anybody else using AI for anything? I just want to make sure on Zoom. Another reason too to teach it who you are, Allie. Yeah, go ahead. Oh, that's awesome.
This is really good. These are good choices. Their money is gone line, whatever. Here's a law pay that's supposed to sell, and that's something to watch. That's kind of typical. Anything
Mhm.
like
HOA minutes and yeah, and I think even HOA like yeah, HOA financials or just even the HOA documents that people are like, oh, well, I'm allowed to do that. I'm like, oh, gotta go read that document. I mean, it stinks. Yeah. Let's see if somebody has a question here. Oh, Angel said she can't hear the answer. I just repeated that part is that she puts kind of HOA minutes or things that you might like have a big document on and ask it to break it down for you of like, is there any red flags? Is there anything that we should be aware of in here? And it will highlight like good and bad things. Another reason to teach it too, who you are, is honestly when you're looking at GEO, it's so if I Googled who's the best realtor in Memphis and so did Courtney and so did Justin, we would get different answers. I'm going to be honest, it's probably based on what I've already told chat and how I work. It's going to find who works like that. So I've gotten I've gotten like one off of AI and you've gotten one or two. So like everybody can come up in this. So don't feel like, oh, well, that person has it locked down. It's also going to see like the person looking it up, how they want to be communicated with. And if Jan said that's how she communicates, then it's going to say, oh, okay, well, Jan is the best realtor in Memphis then. Right. So I think teaching it that.
I don't know about y'all, but when I was new and I really hadn't sold a house, I really didn't know what to do, right? But you could take your past job experience and it ties it into real estate for you. So then you can use that as your value proposition. So if I was an account manager at Six Flags, which I was, and never sold a house, I was able to say I coordinated these events. I've worked with Fortune 500 companies, and I was negotiating whatever contracts, and then it can then tie that into real estate. So use that as leverage. Saw you laughing. I crushed that roll, just so you know.
She got so many people to come take their corporate events to Six Flags. No. Anyways, yeah. So I want you to take this book, organize it, and then start using it as a system. So its system only works as much as you use it. And then we can honestly, another takeaway is to think of all of these AIs as in what their role is. So I do need them all if you're going to use them and make it more efficient. So Gamma, Perplexity, Claude, and it tells you who to use and why. But I think it's super important to, something that Jason Abrams put on socials the other day, and it was from the AI-driven leader, is to have something in front of your face all the time that says, like, can AI help me do this, right? And so if it's something that you're like, oh my God, this always takes me forever, ask AI if it can help you figure out how to do it. Can it do it? And then you can also ask it, if you're not the best AI, who is? So if you're like, I don't like that answer, it's not giving me what I want, say like, okay, well, you're not giving me what I want. Is there a better AI system out there that specializes in doing this? And it's going to say like, oh yeah, Gamma does better graphics than me, or will create you a presentation quicker, right? So it will give you the answers if you ask it.
And it'll help you create better prompts too. There's a prompt optimizer on it too.
Yeah, there are prompt optimizers too. And it teaches you how to use prompts here. But anyways.
Like if you go on chat,
Inside of chat,
inside of chat,
says me to ask what's a prompt optimizer.
I'm like, I don't know if I'm putting in the right input to get the output I want. So like right here where it says GPTs, it says prompt optimizer, prompt engineer, and then explore GPT. So like right under GPTs, it'll say prompt optimizer. And so if I don't really know what prompt I really need to put in to get the output I want, I can just say, hey, can you create a better prompt for me? Which I've done that before a couple times. So.
And you may be able to search inside of GPT's Sesame and find that. And you may have added it to, maybe on the paid version. Inside of searching GPTs, you can probably find a prompt optimizer inside of searching. What did everybody freak out about? Anyways, so inside of here also, just for you guys who maybe have assistants, it can help you create systems, right? So if you go through this or have your assistant go in and make these, go ahead and create the file folders and have those prompts in there. It even, tells you strategies around marketing, 36 touch, message matching, newsletters, relocation guides. And the other one that we're doing also teaches you how to, like, what are some pain points inside the transaction that I need to make special, right? Or what are some times when I need to do a special touch for my client, because it's usually a time when people are there's more friction, right? So how do you optimize that? And it will help you through that too. But anyways, do you have anything else you want to add, Sarah?
No, I just found out you actually have to put in the chat prompt optimizer, and then you can save it over to the left-hand side. So when you open up a search chat or new chat,
You can search chats and do prompt optimizer, and then you can save it to the sidebar to where you can use it at all times. Oh yeah, and we have a winner. Yes. So yes, these meetings are going to be short and sweet because we feel like we want it to be worth your time. If you want to stay after and work through doing this or want me to help you do it, you're welcome to stay. But we do have broker open today. So Lauren Yoakum has a broker open on Kell Creek that we would love for you to go to. It's open from 12 to 2. She is hosting that. So caravan over here with your friends, go take a look at that and give her some feedback. And we already have a couple for next week. So come back next week. James is going to do a class on how to show up in life and business to get luxury clients. So a little bit about like how to carry yourself and ways to influence, get some influence in the luxury space. So James Harvey is going to do that next week. And then after that, we will have more broker opens. And then on Thursday, we are doing via Zoom the listing audit. So if you want some more eyes on there, how to optimize your listings. I know that's always really helpful to everybody. We are going to do that on Zoom on Thursday. And then lastly, we have the Holiday Hustle winner. So Leslie's going to announce that. Who won a family reunion ticket?
Alrighty, so for the last several months of the year, we had everyone turning in their numbers to see who was going to win our family reunion ticket. It was very close. We had some very impressive numbers in here, and the winner was Tarnika Bush.
She is here. Oh, wow. That's awesome. I was like, oh, we know it's Justin. No. Because we know he does his Legion. She did good. But yeah. Okay, so y'all get over there. I think it's about 10 minutes away-ish. So it starts at 12. We would love to see you guys go over there and support our agent. And just so you guys know, if you didn't know, we did send out a zip flyer on her behalf yesterday. So the office is doing that to try to get you guys some traction from other brokerages and encourage you guys to go from our brokerage. But if we can help you market your broker open, we would love to do that every single week for you. So the office is investing in that for you guys.
If they want their listing to be, or their broker to be in the zip flyer, when do they need to turn that into the office?
Oh, yeah. If you want your broker open in there, you need to turn it in by Thursday, end of day Thursday, so that we can create a zip flyer with all of them if possible or if needed, and then get it out over the weekend so that we can make sure that we, get that zip flyer created and out.
Content for next week. Like, I know we've created a workflow for this, so what's the content for next week?
Yeah, James is doing his how to show up in life and business for luxury clients. So James is going to be teaching that. I know his whole team is going to be here. And then Bold is coming. So that's the last announcement for real. I think, unless somebody thinks something. Bold is coming in February. So the first step to Bold is the Wednesday, I want to say February 18th. And it is totally new, guys. So it is not, and he did say, I know sometimes we say it's new and it's not really new. He said Gary really threw away the whole book and started over. It's the 18th of February. And he said every single step to Bold is going to integrate social media and AI and how to show up in that way. So it's stuff that's really relevant right now. And he said no cold calling. There's going to be a lot of like creating content, creating things for AI to get ahead of what's coming. So thank you guys so much for coming. I'm so excited that we had such a good crowd. So I am going to start recording these two. These are recorded, so they'll be on, we're going to start downloading them and put them on YouTube too. So anybody that's dual career or you think missed out on something, feel free to tell them that it'll be on our YouTube channel moving forward. So thank you guys. See you guys at Kell Creek. Bye. Tarnika doesn't.